What's up, all my Ewoks, Tribbles, Droids, and Wookiees? It's Anna, also at Star Wars Girl, and in today's video, I'm going to be doing a review of the new Star Wars Andor show. Now, as of this moment, I have not watched it. What I'm going to do, because they released 3 episodes at once for some reason, I'm going to sit down, watch episode 1, film my little review, then sit down and watch episode 2, film the little review, then sit down and watch episode 3, film my little review, and it'll all come together at the end. Now, full disclosure, out of all of the characters that were introduced in Rogue One, Andor was my least favorite. I thought he was a fucking dick until he had his, like, redeeming moment, and still, I'm like, I don't like you, dude. Like, I just didn't care for him. So, them basing an entire show around him, I'm like, unless you want to show, like, how they got K2SO, I don't really see what the point is. But, I mean, that's what the show's about. So, that being said, let's sit down and watch it. But before that, guys, my channel is Hardcore Shadowbound here on YouTube. So, every single like, share, comment really, really helps out my channel, fighting the pesky YouTube algorithms. And if you guys haven't yet, maybe take a minute, smash that subscribe button, ring that bell for notifications. Make sure that that bell is set to all. That way you actually get notifications when I do videos and live streams. And with that being said, let's get on to the reviews. All right. I just finished episode 1. And the biggest criticism I can give is that there's no actual, like, there's no complete story. Usually when you watch an episode of a show, even if it's not like episodic, there's usually a plot. You know, there's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end. This was kind of just like, here's all of this setup and exposition, and then they just cut it off. And it's not one of those things where it's like leaving you wanting more, which that's clearly what they were going for. It's just, we ran out of time. Like, we tried to tell this story and all of this, you know, the pacing was just terrible. That being said, out of all the Disney shows, like Boba Fett, Kenobi, Mando, like, I feel like Mando starting off was like, it was the most interesting, and then you got the payoff of like Baby Yoda at the end. There's no payoffs, but at least like this one, I will give it to him. It was somewhat interesting. It's like, okay, like me, I like I said earlier, like this was, I don't really care about this character, but it was kind of compelling. The writing is actually better than what I was expecting. I think it was written by Tony Gilroy. He's actually, it's not that bad. Like, the setup is that Andor is looking for his sister, and it's showing flashbacks from his past, which, I mean, maybe this dude that wrote this is like a really big fan of Mad Max, and so he based it on like Mad Max Thunderdome, because if you guys ever watched Mad Max Thunderdome, there's a scene where Max finds all of these kids, and all of like the oldest one, I don't know, is maybe like 15 at most. And all of these kids are living and like surviving, and all of their clothes and stuff are made from like this plane that crashed. And so there's no adults, it's all kids. And so when Andor shows this flashback, it's kind of the same thing. It's all kids kind of in like this tropical Amazon like type setting, and they're all living in like these kind of huts, and everything that they're wearing looks like it was made from a crashed ship. Like their clothes, their huts, like their tools, everything is just kind of found objects and made. And again, the oldest person that I spotted was probably, you know, 15 or 16 years old, and everyone else was really young. So it's just like a colony of kids. And I mean, I feel like the age is a little bit off, but it like some kind of ship crashes, and then him and like the older kids go and look for it, and they leave the little kids there. And I had subtitles on, and there is no subtitles for this dialogue. They're all speaking some random language. They're not speaking basic, and so you don't know what the fuck they're saying. But the gist of it is that they're going to go inspect this crash. I don't know if this is supposed to be like the crash from the Clone Wars, and I was like, oh my god, did somebody actually read an expanded universe novel? Because one of the plot lines in the Clone Wars and the Thrawn trilogy is that the Noghri, you know, their planet kind of got destroyed by a, you know, battle in space above their planet during the Clone Wars, and it destroyed their planet. And, you know, Thrawn took advantage of their their need and stuff. So if you read the expanded universe, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you didn't, you have no fucking idea, but I just kind of gave you a little snidbit of it. Read it. It's good. Thrawn Trilogy and Thrawn Duology. Fucking great. Timothy Zahn. Fantastic writer. They should get him to write their damn shows. But they probably just don't want to pay him, which doesn't make any sense to me because that stuff would be good, but it is what it is. So yeah, this episode is him looking for his sister. He shows up. He goes to a strip club or a brothel, which they say it in the episode. So yeah, it's a brothel. If anyone yells at me that this is for fucking kids, they literally said brothel in the fucking show. So, So he goes there. There's some dudes there and they're pissed because he gets served first. And the chick is just like, yo, yeah, I'm serving you first because they're fucking weird. They got some kind of like whole power thing. Like, I'm not into it. And he's like, I'm looking for this one chick. She might be my sister. And she's like, homeboy, good luck, get the fuck out. And then the guys go and try to jump him, and he he doesn't beat the shit out of him. He accidentally kills one, then shoots the other straight in the face because he's looking for his sister because something happened to his sister. And at the end of the episode, it's like all the little Mad Max kids are going off into the woods, the older ones, and they leave behind all the little kids. For some reason, they don't leave older ones to stay with the little kids. At least it doesn't show any of the older ones with the little kids. And it's just his sister looking off at him. Like, he abandoned his sister, so his whole life mission now is trying to find his sister. I'm like, so you've been looking for your sister for like 20 plus years, man? Like, I get it. I had to look for my sister too, and it fucking sucked. Because, if you know what happened to me, you know what happened. But, I mean, you've been looking for her for over 20 years. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, it's not a complete story. They should have ended the episode with something about, one of his friends telling him, because the whole time he does something, he goes to this planet, he kills the two guard guys, then he goes, and the rest of the episode, he's trying to cover his tracks, and he got something that he wants to sell. And then the chick from that Wizard of Oz show that failed is in this, and Brix, I think is her name. And he needs to get her because she's got some kind of contact that buys black market items. So he's got this to sell to her, and she's got to go get in contact with that. And then the rest of it is him covering his tracks. And then some Imperial dude who's not an Imperial. It's like some branch of the Imperial dude or the Empire. But he's got giant feet. That's one thing. I was like, damn, that guy's got big feet. Like, he's in his uniform. This dude is the only one that's getting anything done that I've seen in any show. Like, this dude is actually working, which is so bizarre. I was like, wow, they actually wrote a character that's working and is doing their job and is like investigating murders. I was like, wow, it would be mind-blowing if anyone else in Star Wars was doing their job. And even like the people that work with him are giving him shit for doing his job. And like, yeah, he's the weird like anal guy that you work for, that like everything has to be by the book and everything has to be done. But I'm like, the dude's like investigating his coworkers' murders. Like, I don't think he's the bad guy in this situation, which, I mean, that's what Disney does. They make the Empire the good guys. Like, some shady dude showed up on a planet and killed two of this dude's coworkers, and he doesn't like that his superior is trying to cover it up, so he's literally trying to investigate who the fuck showed up on this planet and murdered his coworkers, but he's the bad guy. It's like, what? And remember, I said this, the writing in this episode is probably the best out of all of Star Wars, and this is, not Star Wars, Disney fan fiction Star Wars. And this is how bizarre it is. I'm like, you made the bad guy the good guy, unless they're going to do some kind of switch. Like, he realizes, well, I mean, still, investigating your coworkers' murders, again, not a bad thing. But he's going to be the bad guy that's hunting down Andor, but it's like, but Andor killed his coworkers. So, I mean, he's not the bad guy in this situation. And I don't think that, I mean, maybe the writer has read Les Mis and he's trying to do something like that. But even then, it's like, in Les Mis, Jean Valjean didn't kill anyone. He stole a loaf of bread. But still, it's like, this episode did not have a beginning, middle, and end. This episode had a beginning, not really a middle, a start of an exposition, and then it ended, which is, I think, why they released 3 episodes. But as of right now, I haven't seen the other 2. So that's kind of my review of episode 1. Let's go watch episode 2, and I'll report back. All right, episode 2. Again, there's no story. There's no beginning, there's no middle, there's no end. There is just beginning and a tiny bit of tiny little snippets of exposition. There's no story. This is a TV show. If you've ever watched a TV show, you know that there's at least a beginning, a middle, and an end, even if it's not an episodic TV show. And if you don't know what episodic means, holy fuck, I feel old. An episodic episode is where it's one story in and of itself, and it doesn't really affect the next episode because it's episodic. And sometimes, every now and again, they have another thing that happens in one episode, and it carries over, and there is an overarching story, but every single episode is contained in its own. This is not that, which is fine. You have others, shows where it's like, oh, here's one piece of the puzzle and each episode is leading to a bigger piece of the puzzle and everything is progressing, kind of like Breaking Bad. That's not happening here. Well, I mean, they're trying to, but it's not that. I mean, at least if you want people to rewatch your show, you're like, oh my God, this is such a good show, like Breaking Bad, where you can go back and watch one episode, and even though it's a tiny part of the story, it's its own story in and of itself, and there is a beginning, a middle, and an end, and it's interesting, and shit happens. Nothing fucking happened in this episode. Absolutely nothing. You see the Mad Max kids that Cassian is in, or this is like his past, and you see the Mad Max kids are on their Amazon-esque planet, and they're living off of the parts of whatever ship crashed, but there's adults there, and they find like the mining operation, and I'm like, wouldn't the first thing kids do that survived a crash go and try to find a grown-up and go try to find someone to help them? But instead, they all are just staying in their little huts, and the adults that see them kill them. So again, there's no story unless they were purposely trying to hide out. It's like, okay, if you're purposely trying to hide out, then why are you going and investigating a ship crash? If anything, you would want to move your camp and hide deeper into the fucking jungle because you know that these guys are going to kill you. Which is exactly what happens. And I mean, they have weapons. They have even though they're kids, they have their little darts and everything that they have to use later on in the episode. But it's like, if you know that these guys are going to fucking kill you, and you already have weapons to defend yourself with because you know they're going to kill you, why would you go up to them and poke them with a stick? It's like, I mean, I get that they're kids and they're stupid, but the one that was poking them with a stick was a teenager. And you would think if you already know that you need to hide from these people, you already have weapons to defend yourself from these people, you wouldn't be that fucking stupid. But so the whole episode is basically Andor's friend, who's a chick, the one that was from the failed Wizard of Oz show, the dude that she works with that like she's kind of sleeping with, he basically gets jealous and he tells on Andor. And so the Imperial guy that's investigating his coworker's murder, which I tweeted about this and everyone's losing their goddamn mind, or all the weirdos are losing their goddamn mind. Like, it's gray. Oh my God, it's supposed to be exploring a darker side of the Force. I'm like, a darker side of the Force, or a darker side of Star Wars. Hello, have you not seen Star Wars? The first fucking Star Wars movie, Leia watches her planet get destroyed. The beginning of the movie is Darth Vader killing everyone on Leia's fucking ship and torturing her. Like, the princess gets shot in the back in the first scene of fucking Star Wars. You want to talk about now they're exploring the dark side of Star Wars? Bitch, you've never fucking watched Star Wars. And if you haven't seen the originals and you want to talk about the prequels, Anakin fucking murdered children. He murdered an entire village of sand people and then told Padme about it. I mean, there's fucking murder. Like, Qui-Gon gets fucking killed. He gets impaled. And Obi-Wan's gonna cut Darth Maul in half. They're trying to kill the Queen, who's like 14 fucking years old. You want to talk about they're finally exploring the dark side of Star Wars, guys. Oh my God, Andor is finally exploring that. It's like, You haven't fucking seen Star Wars, have you? I like how the lights turned red right then. But so basically Andor got told on, and his like mom chick is like, oh my god, who did you tell you were from, that we were originally from this planet? Every other thing that we registered to says you're from this planet, but now, you know, they're saying that you're from this planet. Who the fuck did you tell? Because nobody's supposed to know we're from this planet. And randomly Alexander Skarsgård shows up, and he's like staring off into the distance. And then he's on a bus, and he's talking to some other old man, and they're talking about how they're getting ripped off, and he's staring off into the distance. And I'm like, this isn't a story. This isn't a plot. And Karn, the dude with giant feet that works for the Empire, literally, he calls the head of security, and the head of security is like, I like you because you're actually doing your job. You're actually, like, our coworkers got murdered, and you're not just brushing it under the rug. You're actually going to investigate our coworkers' murders. And people are like, well, they were bad guys. You didn't really know about them. I'm like, he doesn't know them either. He doesn't know that they're bad guys. But guess what? News fucking flash to the weirdos on Twitter. Murder is bad. Killing people is bad. Like, apparently that's like the hardest concept in the world, which is mind-fuckingly, like, terrifying. It's like the one dude, yes, he killed the one dude on accident. I'll give him that. It's still bad. He still killed someone. It is still bad. The second dude, he shot point blank in the fucking head. That's bad. Right? I mean, what the fuck? But the bad guy of this entire show, Karn, the dude with giant feet, he's the bad guy because he's doing his job and investigating the murder of his fucking coworkers. Like I said in, you know, the last episode 1 thing, this isn't Les Mis. He's not Jean Valjean. He didn't just steal a loaf of bread. He murdered people. You want to talk about gray areas? It's like, yeah, Jean Valjean broke the law. He stole, but it was a loaf of bread to feed his starving family. That's a gray area, right? And that's why that, you know, play is as good as it is, because that is exploring gray areas. He didn't murder anyone. He literally just stole bread to feed his family, and the crime, or the punishment, didn't match the crime, and you got Javert going after him for his entire life. And just that whole, go watch Les Mis if you want to see fucking gray areas in the law. Go watch that. You don't like musicals? You can fucking read it. But it's like, this isn't Les Mis. This isn't the gray areas. I get the dude is looking for his fucking sister. I get that, and I probably get that more than anyone. But here's the thing. It's not good writing. It is not. And it's like, there's nothing fucking happening. He's looking for his sister. He murdered people. The dude is looking for the guy that murdered his coworkers. Like, that's it. And Andor stole something, and he's trying to meet up with the chick's a contact so he can make some money, so he can get something. And the lead on his sister, which I don't even see how selling this is going to get him a lead on his sister. But it's like, the priorities here don't really make sense. And all they're doing is making the bad guys, the Empire, look like the good guys in this situation. And remember, the Empire are the ones that work for the fucking Emperor fucking Palpatine, one of the most ruthless, evil to ever live. And they're making them the good guys. That's what Disney is doing. This is... Oh my God. That's where we're at right now. That was Andor episode 2. Oh yeah. I should also mention the chick. This is, if anyone argues this is a kid show, no, it's fucking not. She shows up to bang the Scottish guy. Bangs, like, she literally takes off her jacket, and you can like see the outline of her bra through her almost see-through shirt. And then she like just goes in his room and starts taking off her clothes and sitting on his bed. And then the next morning, she wakes up, and he's sitting in the chair staring at her because he's like suspicious of her because he doesn't know what the fuck is going on with her and Andor. And he knows that like she's lying to him about something. And then like she's like getting up and like I mean, unless she's wearing like nude seamless underwear, I mean, it's like, all right, this is not for kids. It's not subtle at all. All right, episode 3 is basically shit hits the fan. The contact that was going to buy the box thingy from Andor is actually going to recruit him to join the Rebel Alliance, allegedly. And the Karn dude shows up with his 12 other dudes plus the other officer, and shooting starts happening. Some people die. The dude that the chick was sleeping with gets shot and dies because he like tries to like, he's like, oh, she's got hurt. They told him, don't run at us or we're gonna shoot you. He runs at them and they shoot him and he dies. And yeah, the Imperial guys basically shoot up the town looking for Andor. Andor's like, oh yeah, it's easy, man. You just go up and you pretend like you know what you're doing and the Empire won't pay attention to you. He's like, you just put on a uniform and have a toolkit. And I'm like, ooh, Disney's going with them stereotypes, right? That's fun. Great job, Disney. And yeah, the Imperial Karn guy with the giant feet, he just is like trying to catch the bad guy. The bad guy starts running from him and they do the things, and one of the guys that's not really trained shoots at him and shit hits the fan. And it's like, okay, this could have been done in one episode. All 3 of these episodes could have been done in one episode. All you had to show was him looking for his sister, or like him and stealing the piece, then him going back to the planet, the Imperial guy looking for him, following a lead or following something, following him into the planet, and then him getting, you know, the information to the chick to call the guy, Alexander Skarsgård. Alexander Skarsgård shows up, shit hits the fan. One episode. That all 3 episodes could have been condensed into one 40-minute episode. Instead, they dragged it all out. It's like, guys, like, come on. I mean, even if you wanted to do it a little bit longer and do like 90 minutes, that was your beginning, middle, and end. That was everything that happened. That was the story. I said this in, you know, part 1 and part 2. I'm just like, guys, there's nothing. There's no story. You had to see 3 episodes to see something. It's like, just combine those all into one. It's called this magical word called editing. You want to remember, what did Star Wars win an Oscar for? It didn't win Best Picture. Fucking Annie Hall won, which I hate that movie with every fiber of my being. That's beside the point. Star Wars should have won. But Star Wars won the Oscar for editing. Hire some fucking editors. Cut that shit down, combine it into one fucking episode, and there you go. There is a story with a beginning, middle, and end. And if you would have not had it dragged out ridiculously like that, you could have had it be like action filled, and it could have been compelling. But instead, it's like long, drawn out shots of like him having a flashback looking at his kid face in the mirror. And then his mom type chick, who's an actress that I like. I cannot remember her name off the top of my head. She was in 3 Men and a Little Lady, which I thought was funny because she's trying to like bang Tom Selleck, which was hilarious. But point. Sorry, I lost my train of thought because I was thinking of Tom Selleck. The show would be really good if he was in it. They should get him. That'd be great. But it's like, what are you doing? Like, did they have a minimum and they're just like, we don't know what the fuck to do, so let's just drag this shit out as long as possible? I mean, it would have saved them so much fucking money to just do this in one episode, and then they would have more money to tell more of a story. Instead, it's like, let's drag out this extremely boring plot for 3 fucking episodes instead of just doing it in one. And then the whole thing with his sister, I'm like, again, you could do 2 flashback scenes where it's like him with his sister and then him getting taken and him realizing, my sister's back there, I need to go find her. And that's been his mission since he was a child. And, you know, they saved him, but they left his sister. That's all you needed to do. That was fucking it. Instead, they're like, let's recreate Mad Max Thunderdome, or let's rip off Mad Max Thunderdome and get all the kids with all like the spare parts from the crashed ship and, you know, have them go and poke people with spears. It's like editing. fucking hire some because you fucking need it. Holy shit, it was you know, and that's the end. The climax of it is that he takes off with Alexander Skarsgård and leaves all of his friends in the destruction, and Alexander Skarsgård is going to have him join the Rebel Alliance. It's like, really? I mean, talk about super anticlimactic. They didn't even like flash the badge or anything, or like the symbol. It's like, at least do something. Like, you're trying to do fan service with like little things here and there. That would have been the perfect fan service moment, and then everyone be like, oh my god, he's joining the Rebel Alliance! Not as if we didn't already know that's where it's going. But anyways, yeah, guys, that was all 3 episodes. Holy shit. It's kind of a waste of time, to be honest. Anyways, that Disney, way to disappoint again. Hire a fucking editor. That is the moral of this story. But anyways, everyone, let me know what you think about all of this down in the comment section below. If you guys liked this video, please smash the like button. If you didn't, that's okay too. Thank you so much for watching this far through. And if you guys haven't yet, maybe take a minute, smash that subscribe button, ring that bell for notifications. Make sure that bell is set to all, that way you actually get notifications when I post videos and live streams. And until next time, guys, I hope you all have a great rest of your day, morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And may the force be with you, because we are really, really, really going to need it. Bye, everyone. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed my video. Thank you so much again for supporting my channel and my content. And if you guys would like to support me further, my cosplay calendar, my gamer edition cosplay calendar, is live still now on Indiegogo for a limited time only. We were very, very successful in the campaign, and we are currently in demand. In demand is only going to be up for a limited time only, so be sure to go check it out before we take this down. And guys, once again, thank you so much for this. If you guys want to go and back this campaign, the link is down below in the description of this video, and make sure that you guys check it regularly, because I do add updates on there and more photos are coming soon. So thank you, guys. And last but not least, guys, I have a Twitch that I am trying to go. I am at 5.7k followers right now, and I'm trying to get to 10,000 by the end of the year. So if you guys haven't gone and followed me over on Twitch, go and do so now. The link is in the description of this video. I play a lot of games on here like Elden Ring and KOTOR, so go check it out if you haven't already. And that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.